What is up, CP Finitians? And today we're getting into Chapter 2, which is how do you solve a system of linear equations algebraically. We are going to start off here solving these systems by substitution. We're going to get into elimination and kind of build off of what we did last chapter. So what you should remember is how to solve with substitution method. One way just to remember is you typically use this method when your variable has a leading coefficient of 1. So this is a good example to use it. I know it's set up for elimination, but simply we can solve for x and just have x is equal to 7y minus 30, and then we use that to substitute into the other equation. What you can start to do is label your equations and just think I'm substituting this x into equation 1. So equation 1 really is 3 times the quantity 7y minus 30. Yep, there's an Australian accent. Plus 2y equals 2. And then you keep going, distributing. Don't forget to go to both. 21y minus 90 plus 2y equals 2. And then combining our like terms, 23y equals, oh boy, 92. Well, how to get that? I had to 90, and divide by 23, divide by 23. You get y is equal to 4. Now don't forget to substitute it back on in to y here in order to find x. And that means x is equal to 7 times 4 minus 30, or 28 minus 30. X is a lonely little negative 2. Okay, negative 2, 4 is the appropriate answer, remembering x, y. Substitution, basic. Again, you did it in the past. If you weren't quite getting it then, now you should be getting it down. Okay, this example here, it's not set up so much for substitution, but you still can do it. You just want to solve for a variable. So really, you can just use your algebra skills. I'm going to move 2x to the other side by subtracting it. And then I have 1/2 y is equal to negative 2x plus 0. You don't even need to write that. But just know that you need to get rid of the 1/2. And you can do that by multiplying everything by the reciprocal of 1/2, or 2. And that means that y is equal to negative 4x. You might see in the future that the more algebra you know how to do these things, the better it's going to help you. So then just substitute that y into the other one. It may look nasty, but it's just going to be 3x minus 4 times negative 4x equals negative 19 halves. That gives us 16x plus 3x equals negative 19 halves. Hey, 19x equals negative 19 halves. If you choose to do this in the calculator, okay, that's why I have the calculator over here. Remember, type it in with parentheses. Negative 19 divided by 2 divided by 19. If you do not use those parentheses, you're not going to get the right answer. So x equals negative 0.5, or negative 1/2. I am a fraction guy. Substitute that back in to find y. So negative, there again, 4 times negative 1/2, and then y equals 2. Okay, so don't be afraid to do a little more work substituting. Okay, some students like substitution, some students like our next one, which is elimination. Elimination I like as well, but I like to call it something else. I like to call it the Terminator Method. Wow, the Terminator. Okay, so we're all going to be Terminators today, and elimination, let's just call it the Termination Method. So no matter what your name is, today you are the Terminator. How you do this? You pick a letter to terminate. I see these two are opposites. So positive y and negative y, they're going to terminate. If you add these equations, you have, don't forget to add the last piece, you have 4 equals negative 2x divided by negative 2 x equals negative 2. You can substitute it back into either equation. I'll use 1. So negative 2 minus y equals 3. Add 2. Negative y equals 5. That means y equals negative 5. Terminated. Your answer is negative 2, negative 5. Okay. So, the Terminator method, no matter who you are, you might be Joe the Terminator, you might be Brian the Terminator, you might be Natalia the Terminator. We're all Terminators. Sometimes you need to do a little more work. This one, nothing's ready to terminate. But you can multiply each equation, and in my case, I'm going to choose y. I want to terminate y. That is my target. In order to do that, I want this to be a negative 2y. So I have the opposites. So I can just multiply its whole thing by 2. Now, when you do that, don't forget to multiply to absolutely everything. A lot of students forget about the 5. That gives us 4x minus 2y equals 10. I'll just rewrite this down below. 5x plus 2y equals 8. And terminate the variables. It gives us 18 equals 9x. Students, again, forget this piece. X equals 2. Substitute back in now. We'll do the second equation just for fun. So 5 times 2 plus 2y equals 8. 10 plus 2y equals 8. Subtract 10. Subtract 10. Negative 2 equals 2y. Y equal negative 1. 2, negative 1. Terminated. Easy peasy stuff, guys. So those are the last two of those, but don't be afraid of special cases either. Here's a special case. When we go to terminate this, so if we change this one here and we go, oh, we need this to be a negative 2, so we change it to negative 2x plus 2y equals negative 14. All I did was multiply everything by 2. Down below we have the 2x minus 2y equals negative 8. What happens? We have super termination going on. These cancel and these cancel. But remember, that leaves you with 0. So 0 is equal to negative 22? What? That's not true. So if you get something like this, 0 is equal to negative 22. Okay, that's never true. So we call this an inconsistent system. In the past, you knew it as no solutions. So you might have 0 equals negative 22, you might have 0 equals 5, anything not true. Here, we have a little different story. So if you multiply everything by 2 in the numerator again, actually, let's cancel out by multiplying everything by 3. So that gives us 6x plus 3y equals 12. Down below, we have negative 6x minus 3y equals negative 12. This time, super duper termination. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Oh my goodness. What are we left with? We're left with 0 equals 0. That is true. Terminated. Okay, that's always true. 0 is equal to 0. So that means there are infinite solutions. Or we also call it now dependent. Okay, dependent infinite solutions. The last stuff are the application problems. Oh my. So we warmed up with these last chapter. Really, it's all about making your two equations. I would have one with one unit, one with the other. Now, the first thing is, how many people paid were adults? Okay, what do you want to find? We want to find the number of adults and the number of seniors. So let those be your variables, maybe A and S. That works out, okay? And let's begin to decipher our equation. So, $9 for adults. I know that a 9y is going to be involved somewhere. Sorry, a 9a. Okay? $7 for seniors. I know that a 7x S is going to be involved. And these are both monetary values, so we better put the other monetary value in there, which is 2,495. Okay, the second equation, we know that 325 people paid admission. Now what it means is that the number of adults plus the number of seniors is going to be 325. Okay, those are your two equations. Those are them right there. Okay, after that piece, really, it's all about using either substitution or elimination. I'll let you finish that up, and then you can put your answers on Schoology. Okay, so solve for A and solve for S. Before you do that, or maybe after, take a look at this one. I'll set this one up for you and ask the same thing. Perimeter of a rectangle is 90 feet. Find the dimensions of the floor if the length is twice the width. Okay, so we have a rectangle. We want to find the dimensions, length and width. First, let's remember what perimeter is. Perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay, the length is twice the width. Okay, this is where students get a little confused. Okay, first off, we also know, let's just fill in some stuff. We know the perimeter is 90. So instead of P, let's make that 90 equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Our second equation is going to involve the length is twice the width. Okay? So you need to ask yourself, how can I get the length? Okay? So if you know the width, so say the width is 10. Your length, if it's twice, would be 20. If your width is 5, your length would be 10. If your width is, I don't know, let's give it 20, your length is 40. What are you doing to go from W to L? You're multiplying W times 2. Okay, ask yourself, how would I get from the width to the length? Make some scenarios. Your second equation then is that 2 times your width equals your length. Those are your two equations. It's kind of neat. Okay, I would highly recommend using substitution. Okay, you can certainly do that. So there are two problems for you. I want you to do those two. I want you to put your answers on Schoology. Afterwards, then I'll give you the practice problems, which are very similar. So systems of equations, substitution, termination, and word problems. All right, guys, you got it. Solve away.